Hey everyone, welcome to this live stream. I know we've all been thinking about a solution for Amadeus, and we're wondering now that Amadeus has given us a deadline, when are we going to find a solution and what are we going to do about it? So, after doing some research, I learned of this platform. How would you pronounce it? Would you pronounce it as Duffel? Duffel? Please, I need to know how you pronounce it. But yeah, I'm going to look at it and see how it can help us achieve our goals. And we shall add it to the logic that we built in the factory so that it's swappable and we can do whatever we want with it. So yeah, let's carry on. And I want to get into it. So let me. All right. So says sell travel without the complexity. Says any business from startups to large enterprises can sell travel with Dufo, shop, book, manage flights, stays, and travel extras. So I have the docs over this side, and yeah, they have a number of basics that we can look at. And yeah, other things can be made easier, but I want to make sure that I understand at least the basics. So let me start from right here at the overview. I hope you can read. If it's not clear, please let me know. I will zoom in even more. So overview, they say you'll understand a few important concepts to get started with finding and booking flights using the Duffel API. Wow, a kid is literally crying out his lungs in the neighboring apartment. So if you hear background noise, I'm really sorry. But let's continue. Says to search for flights, you create an offer request. I think this is very familiar. This is the same thing we were doing in Amadeus. Similar concepts, okay? In Amadeus, they call it a flight request. Here they're saying an offer request. No, in Amadeus, I think it is flight offers search. Okay. Yeah, same concept. Then they're saying an offer request describes the passengers and where and when they want to travel in the form of a list of slices. Okay. An offer request describes the passengers and where and when they want to travel in the form of a list of slices. It may also include additional filters. For example, a particular cabin to travel in. Then it goes on to say a slice represents a journey that the passengers want to make between a particular origin and a particular destination. So you make an offer request, okay? And the offer request describes the passengers and where and when they want to travel in the form of slices. And now talking about this list of slices, they're saying a slice is now a single journey that the passengers want to make between a particular origin and a particular destination. For the origin and destination, you simply provide the IATA code for the airport. For example, London Heathrow Airport is LHR, or for a city, for example, New York, NYC. An offer request includes one or more slices. Yeah, very, very identical. So you simply have the origin IATA code and the destination IATA code. Okay. Yeah, I think this makes sense to me. Then they go on to say, we'll send you will send your search to a range of airlines and come back to you with a series of offers. Then they're saying each offer represents a bundle of flights you can buy from an airline at a particular price that meet your search criteria. Each offer represents a bundle of flights you can buy from an airline at a particular price that meet your search criteria. Each airline can send back multiple offers, so you can potentially get hundreds or even thousands. It's very good to take note of this. And here it goes on to say, inside the offer, you'll see your slices, but now each slice will also include the list of one or more specific flights that the airline is offering to get the passengers where they want to go. Each flight is known as a segment. I like these docs. I think they do a better work at breaking down what an offer request is, okay? What a slice is, okay? This is much better. According to me, I see this is way better than the Amadeus documentation. I don't know what you guys say, but this looks better. By just reading this, I see it, okay? I don't know whether it's because we've done a lot of this using Amadeus, so maybe it's feeling like second nature, but I'm finding this easier to understand. Okay, so where was I? I think it was here. Okay, each flight is known as a segment. A journey from London to New York could be direct, made up of one segment, or there could be one or more connections in the middle, meaning multiple segments. All lists of slices and segments will be ordered by those departing first. Okay, so every flight, which is known as a segment, can be direct, okay, made up of one segment, or there could be one or more connections in the middle, meaning multiple segments. So they go on to say, once you have found an offer you want to book, you create an order passing in the offer's ID, additional information about each passengers, for example, their name and date of birth and payment information. This is the same thing we did with Amadeus, okay? You search, get flight offers, select, okay? Then create an order. The only step that is missing here is the price confirmation, okay? For Amadeus, before creating the order, you had to first do the flight confirmation. I don't know if you remember that. You search, you're given offers, you select an offer, the price is confirmed, then you create an order. So this one appears to have only 2 steps before making an order. I mean, only 1 step, okay? But Amadeus has 3 steps. So they're saying one-way direct trip. They have here an image, okay? From LHR, this is London Heathrow, to JFK. I think this is it, Kennedy. JFK might be the Kennedy airport, okay? So this is a slice. Not a slide, but slice. Sorry. It is a slice. So this is what a slice has, okay? The origin, IATA code, the destination, IATA code. And all this is simply a flight. And the flight is called a segment in the IATA terms. Then they're saying we create an offer request for 2 passengers who want to travel from London to Heathrow Airport to New York on 1st May. Okay. So if I scroll, they're saying Duffel or Duffel sends the search to a range. Duffel sends the search to a range of airlines and gets an offer back from British Airways consisting of about £1,532. Inside the offer, we have the slice we specified, LHR to NYC on 1st May. Then they're saying inside that slice, we have one segment, LHR to New York's John Kennedy Airport, okay? New York's John F. Kennedy Airport, JFK, traveling on a British Airways operated flight BA117, departing at 8:30 on 1st May. Okay. Yeah, so there we are, okay, from New York to JF Kennedy, okay. I think, yeah, this is what they are trying to explain and describe in this segment. Of course, in the diagram, they've not talked about the time. They're only talking about the codes in the text, okay. The codes in the text are there, the date is there, and the time, but in the diagram it's not there, which is okay. All right, let's go to the next part, okay, where I want to see, let's go to the next part where I want to see this one-way indirect trip. So this one was one-way direct trip. Then this one is one-way indirect trip. And at the bottom it says one-way indirect trip from LHR to NYC on 1st May with a layover at BOS. Okay, so this is also a slide made up of two segments. So it says we create an offer request again for two passengers who want to travel from London Heathrow Airport. Okay. This is nice. I wish I knew that you can click to see it better. I didn't know this was possible. Yeah, this looks nice and better. Let me try the previous one. Click. Yeah, this is definitely better documentation. Did you see? All things work out for good. I don't know if you guys believe that. Do you believe that all things work out for good? Anyway, let's go down and continue. So one-way indirect trip. They're saying we create an offer request again for two passengers who want to travel from London Heathrow to New York on 1st May. And then, yeah, so this first one is the origin and this one's the destination. So we go on, it says Dufo sends the search to a range of airlines and gets back an offer from Virgin Atlantic costing £482. Inside the offer, we have the slice we specified, LHR to NYC on 1st May. But this time, inside that slice, we have two segments. Okay, that's the difference. There are two segments inside this slice. So a slice can have more than one segment. What is a segment? A flight. Okay, I like that they break it down. Wow, this is nice. Maybe we should have begun with this API. Why did we suffer with what was going to be deprecated? If I knew, I would have come to this, but let me continue. I don't want to get excited. LHR to Boston's Logan International Airport, okay, which is BOSS, traveling on this VS 4011. Then they're saying a flight marketed by Virgin Atlantic, but operated by Delta Airlines, departing at 9:40 on 1st May. We don't need to know those names. All we need to know that it's leaving Boston International Airport to, it's leaving, what is LHR? It's leaving, Heathrow to Boston, okay, at 9:40 on 1st May, okay. Then, Heathrow to Boston is the first thing at 9:40 on 1st May. That's the first segment, okay. Then we continue, says, then Boston to New York's LaGuardia Airport. I hope I pronounced this, LGA, traveling on that, okay, a flight marketed by Virgin Atlantic but operated by Delta Connection, departing at 14:00 local time on 1st May. Okay, which is this other part, Boston to LGA. Yeah, that makes it easy to understand. Then they say return redirect trip. They're saying a return trip. Okay, so we have a return trip. Come on. Okay, having two segments. Okay, yeah. So let's read through it. They're saying we create another offer request, this time for one passenger who wants to travel from London to Toronto. So Toronto IATA code is YTO on 1st May and return on 8th May. Okay, from LG. Why are they calling it LGW? It's supposed to be LON. Okay, it's supposed to be LON to YTO for it to be correct. The LGW should be a mistake. Okay, because even here in this other text, okay, they're saying LON to YTO. All right, so in the same thing, after having your offer request, so the goal is first thing you have an offer request. Okay, and like you see, every offer request has the date, the origin, destination. Okay, and when I say origin and destination, I mean the origin IATA code and destination IATA code. Then it goes on to say Duffel sends the search to a range of airlines, gets an offer back from WestJet costing about £431. Inside the offer, we have this two slices we specified, London to, what is YTO again? Shorter memory, okay? Wow. Anyway, let's continue. London to YTO on 1st May and YTO to London on 8th May. So this is the going, and then this is the return, okay? Says inside the London to YTO slice, we have one segment, London's Gatwick Airport, LGW to Toronto's Pearson International Airport, YYZ, traveling on a WestJet operated flight, WS4, departing at 12:00 on 1st May. Okay, then it says inside the YTO to LON slice, we also have one segment, YYZ to LGW, traveling on a WestJet operated flight, WS3, departing at 20:40 on 8th May. Yeah, we have to understand the things by force. Wow. All right, so let's carry on. Then they have a return indirect trip, okay? So you look at this one, it has about 3 segments, okay? So one slice, like they said, can have more than one segment. Do you now get it? All right, let's now move on. So they say we create, I don't know if I should, they say we create the same offer request again from London to Toronto on 1st May, returning 8th May for one passenger. Duffel sends the search to a range of airlines and gets another offer back from Canada costing about £396. Inside the offer, we have two slices we specified London to YTO on 1st May and YTO to London on 8th May. Inside the London to YTO slice, we have one segment, LHR to YZ, traveling on an Air Canada operated flight. Okay, and it's the flight number departing at this time on 1st May. But inside the YTO, okay, we have so a nested segment, okay, a segment inside the segment, okay. So they're saying YYZ to Chicago's. So these are the segments inside this, okay. Yeah, so I don't have to read through everything. You get the point. Then this one here is a multi-city direct trip, okay. So you have two segments, okay, from LHR, which is the origin, okay, to JFK. You get? That's a destination on 4th May. Then the person leaves JFK. So JFK becomes the new origin, okay? And they move to SFO, which is now the new destination. And so they're saying for multi-city, what have they called it? Multi-city direct trip, okay? We shall have two slices, okay? So two slices, each having one segment, like you see in this diagram. Nice. I love this. Okay. Then they go ahead to explain it. Okay. Sometimes you won't understand things firsthand. Okay. But take time to read. Okay. Read for yourself and understand. Once you've read and understood, then you can maybe maybe copying this and giving it to your AI. Okay. So that your AI agent can process this, okay, and have it as context, okay. But you have to be careful because this can be a lot of tokens, okay. Because remember, if you have to give your AI this as context, okay, then you add it maybe the other actual command. But anyway, let's not go into that. So those are the key concepts. Then the other called stays key concepts. I won't go to that, okay. I'm only interested in the flights key concepts. So now I want to go to making requests. So there we are, an overview. Okay, it's actually a short page, a very short page. It says overview. Here are the building blocks to set up your first request authentication. You'll need to include an access token in every request you make to the API, just like Amadeus. To create an access token, head to your dashboard. When you create an access token, you'll be able to choose whether to give it read only or read write access. Okay, so for my case, I think I'm going to give it both. Okay, read and write. So I'm going to create an account. So yeah, make sure you create an account and yeah, navigate to the correct page. Okay, but I guess it should be somewhere here. Then they're saying send your access token in the authorization request header using the bearer authentication scheme. So you see we have the authorization bearer, then and if you've been doing development with me for all this time, you must know this, okay? This is not new to you. Right, now versioning is saying you'll need a Duffel version header with each request so we know which version of API you want to use, okay? So this is API versioning using headers. Some people use the URL, okay? But yeah, so you said Duffel version v2. Please refer to the versioning page to learn more about how we version our API. Then the MIME types, all responses from the API are in JSON format using the UTF-8 encoding. An accept header is required with every request. Okay, so you simply pass accept application JSON. Okay, I'm starting to get that they probably have a MIME type of maybe an image for your ticket or PDF or HTML or XML. I'm just guessing. Okay, and they're saying all request bodies sent to the API should be in JSON format. a content type header is required whenever you're sending a request body. That is to say, post and put requests. So content type, application, JSON. So compression, we recommend enabling compression for responses returned by the API, since they can be very large. To enable compression, send an accept encoding header like this. Accept encoding, gzip. So gzip is what is used to compress. You'll need to configure your HTTP client to decompress responses. Most clients will have this functionality built in. All responses will contain X request ID header. The value in this header uniquely identifies the request response. All right, says we recommend you keep track of this header for debugging purposes. When interacting with the Duffel API support team, providing this header will allow the team to give you prompt and personalized support. Client correction ID, I think sometimes you may want to send your own ID in the headers so that you can correct requests and responses from Duffel. We also provide a header named X correction ID for that purpose. All responses will contain an X client correction ID header. The value in this header allows you to set your own client identifier per request or response. Yeah. So to correct requests and responses, not bad. Says when your API client does not set this header, it will have the same value as X request ID in the response. Yeah, so basic introduction on making requests. So yeah, we can go on and on, but there's no need to go through all this, okay? Then yeah, they have status codes. If you've been doing backend with me, by now you should have a good understanding of these status codes. And I'm happy that they actually explain them here, okay? Not assuming that you know, okay? So yeah, you can see there's a 200, okay? 201, 202. We don't need to go through this. I expect if you don't know what these codes are, please read about them in your free time, okay? Go to this page and read about them. I'm not going to go through them, okay? They're actually quite easy, trust me, okay? Then they have here the error responses, okay? So in their error, they have a title, which is a quick and simple description of what went wrong. Like, I like these guys, okay? I like the order. The guys of Amadeus didn't have this kind of stuff, okay? A title, so a quick and simple description of what went wrong. I can even share this with the user in the UI. A message, say a more detailed human readable description of what went wrong. Maybe this is even better, okay? Then documentation URL, I think a URL pointing to a place in our documentation where you can read about the error. Nice, 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 nice. Now this is modern API development. I've learned a lesson from this. Going forward, when I'm creating APIs, okay, for external use like this, if possible, I should do this. Include a documentation URL. Oh my God. Crazy. This is so cool. Nice. Type a machine readable identifier for the general error category. I'm just so happy about this. This is nice. I'm so happy. So happy, so happy. Yeah, yeah. Then the code is say a human readable identifier for this specific error. Okay. Then they have, so it's the error response, okay? And they have error types. So they have an authentication error. It means the problem with authenticating us. An airline error, okay? Meaning they got an error back from the airline. Okay, invalid state error, okay? You tried to perform an action on a resource that wasn't appropriate. Rate limit error, you made too many requests, okay? If you've been following this channel for some time, you should know about the rate limit errors or what rate limiting is all about. Validation error says you didn't provide a required parameter or a parameter you provided was invalid. Nice. And let me tell you something. we've fought with Amadeus over such issues, okay? Maybe in their enterprise API, they have this provided, who knows, okay? But I'm glad that these guys have it for free. Invalid request error, okay? Says there are some other kind of problem with your request. Then we have the API error, says something went wrong on our side and has been reported to us, okay? So yeah, they go through the error codes. So you can now, after you've understood this, you can give your AI stuff. So you have your authentication errors, okay? And of course, we expect it to be a 401, okay? Invalid request errors, it should be a 400. This should not be shocking to you, okay? So they're now breaking down the types of authentication errors they have, okay? Access token not found. In fact, our work, we should make sure that this does not happen, okay? Expired access token, invalid, so many, okay? So we have the bad request, invalid content type, missing content type header. Okay, can't wait to give cloud code all this as context and ban my token. So if you're enjoying this, if you're happy, like this video. If you're happy we have got a solution, like this video. All right, so they now go on to the endpoints, okay? So when you're creating the, wait, are we already on endpoints? This was too soon, okay? Flights endpoints, when you create an offer requests, okay? They say the table below lists all possible code values for type, airline, error, okay? So this is /air/offer requests. So they show the potential errors, okay? When you do an offer request. Then you have the invalid state errors, okay? Yeah, there's a lot to go through. So yeah, check. I won't go through this now. Make sure you study this, okay? It's not even that much. Okay, so did they see a webhook somewhere? You're saying, yeah, it's here. Do for sends webhook notifications to keep you informed about the status and details of your created resources. Wow. Guys, I'm so happy. This is nice. All right, so even rate limiting is here. They explain it to us. So even streaming is here. You can stream. They're saying a subset of our endpoint support HTTP streaming. They're saying this allows you to receive and process data incrementally as it becomes available rather than waiting for the complete response. To enable streaming, configure your HTTP client to handle streaming responses. Most clients will have this functionality built in. You'll need to implement proper JSON streaming parsers in your application to fully benefit from this feature. This can significantly reduce latency by processing partial results as they arrive. Yeah, very true. Then they say, note, clients should not rely on specific chunking patterns or boundaries. As these are implementation details that may change, only complete JSON objects are guaranteed, not a specific chunking behavior. Okay, that's on response handling. Let's look at pagination, okay, which is good. So they're saying our list of APIs, for example, list offers requests or list airports, will only return a limited number of results at a time. By default, will return 50 results per page. How you can set this to any number between 1 and 200 with the limit query string parameter, for example, by making a request to this endpoint, okay? So you can see this, the limit I've put here, okay? That's how they handle pagination. Simply put a query parameter, okay, with a value of, for example, 200, which is the number of results you want at a time. And this is the best practice for any REST API, okay, or API. You have to implement pagination, otherwise you do not override your client with a lot of data. So the thing at the end of every list response, you'll see a metadata object like this. Did I say metadata? Looks like my brain is working on autopilot. Okay, so meta object saying after this, before that, limit 30. So they're saying if meta.after is null, then there are no more results to see. This one here, okay? If it is null, if after is null, no more data to see. So they're saying, but if meta.after isn't null, then that means there are more results over the page. To look beyond this first page of results, you'll need to use our cursor page, our cursor based pagination functionality. Yeah, we studied cursor pagination. If you don't know about that, check the playlist for it. Search the playlist and you'll find a video where I talk about cursor based pagination. Then they say to see the next page, make a request to the same URL, but this time add a question mark with after equals to meta.after to the URL. So in this case, we add after equals to this value, and this value is exactly as what you see here. Okay. You'll then see the next 50 results. Okay. Yeah. To see all of the results, repeat this process until method after is null. You talk about response times. Okay. The Duffel API acts as a proxy, usually making multiple requests to external airline APIs. This means that the total response time for a request is composed of airline response times and Duffel overhead. Yeah, so expect that. Then of course we are also building over theirs. That adds the third layer, okay? But that is why we need caching, like I shared within the past, okay? So let's read and see. While we continuously work in minimizing our overhead latency, in practice, response times can vary between airlines. By default, the Duffel API will attempt to return results for search in 20 seconds, although this can be extended using the supplier timeout option. Some operations on the airline APIs can occasionally be slow, so we allow incoming requests to take up to 120 seconds. Is it seconds? Milliseconds? Okay, seconds. In order to ensure you don't time out on your side, we recommend setting your HTTP client to something slightly higher, e.g. 130 seconds. Okay, not bad. Additionally, the Duffel API offers a range of parameters that allow fine-tuning requests to accommodate the speed and content needs of each user case. E.g., this guide covers the best practices to consider when building a flight search experience. Says the Duffel API also provides a range of parameters that enable you to fine-tune requests to improve the relevance of content and response speed to what your users need. For instance, search the best practices guide and list our recommendations for building a flight booking experience. Okay. Yeah, I'll read this later. So, of course, I won't go through everything. They have the test mode, okay, which is a testing, like a sandbox. Okay. Read this. They say you'll want to start building your integration in test mode. Test mode is a sandbox which lets you use the Duffel API risk-free. They say free, okay, with no danger of spending any money or booking flights you don't want. You'll create a testing access token to use test mode. Head to your dashboard, make sure you are in developer test mode, and create a token. Testing tokens are easy to recognize. They start with do4 underscore test underscore. Okay, take note of that. With a testing access token, you will only be able to access resources created in test mode. With a live access token, you'll only be able to access resources created in a live mode. Take note, okay? Then they have airline sandboxes, saying while using the Duffel API in test mode, you'll likely be interacting with airline sandbox environments. These environments are external to our systems, so unfortunately, we are not able to provide strong guarantees about their behavior. They're saying, for example, an airline sandbox might be out of action due to maintenance, or flight availability might be used up due to other users' bookings. All right, they say this is very important to know. We want to make sure that you have a great integration experience from your first requests all the way to production. And for having no control over the airline sandboxes should not affect that. To help with this, we have created our own sandbox airline, Duffel Airways. Making this airline available in test mode means that the Duffel team can provide stronger guarantees around the behavior as well as the reliability of this particular airline sandbox, meaning you can reliably search and book no matter what. Again, I clap for them. They have done well. Okay? But actually, this is similar to what we built in the previous video. Do you know that? Very similar. Then you have the Duffel Airways. They're now explaining it. When you search for flights in test mode, you'll see offers from Duffel Airways. You can identify these offers among the other search results by looking at their owner. Okay? When you search for flights in test mode, you'll see offers from Duffel Airways. You can identify these offers amongst the other search offers by looking at their owner. The owner is an airline object, and in this case, you'll see its name will be Duffel Airways and its IATA code will be ZZ. Okay. So starting from Duffel Airways offer, you can choose multiple fare brands when searching for business class fares, list available services, that is extra bags. Okay, this is nice. Even in their free tier, you can do this. This is nice. Fetch a seat map including free and paid seats. Okay. Create an order for the offer and any services or seats. Cancel your order for a refund. Change your order. Picking alternative flights. And this is what we all need. Okay. This is what we all need. In test mode, Duffel Airways is much more reliable than other airlines, but this comes with a significant trade-off. You won't see realistic flight schedules or prices. Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I can accept that trade-off, okay? Because we have exactly what we need. Say searching. To get started with Duffel Airways, you'll need to search for flights by creating an offer request. You can use the following request, replacing your access token with your own access token. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is like in using curl in your shell. You can see it's very compressed rather, and it's HTTPS API.duffel AR offer request. Okay. Look at the content type. Okay. Accept encoding, the Duffel version, the authorization. Okay. And then you see the data they have sent is a cabin class economy. Then the slices. Okay. Don't forget what the slice is. And in this slice, okay, we have the first check of information is the departure date, the destination IATA code, and then the origin IATA code. Then here we have the list of passengers. Okay, the type is adult. Simple as that. Then they say for more information on creating offers, see our create an offer requests. With the results from a search, you'll then be able to create orders, secret an order. If you have any feedback on the Duffel Airways test mode, drop us a line. Okay. Then they have test card numbers. They're saying you cannot use real card details when confirming a payment intent in test mode. Instead, you should use one of the test cards listed here. All cards accept any 3 digits as CVC and any future date as expiry date. Cards from different countries can be used to test local versus international fees. For example, if you're based in France, you can use our Irish and Australian test cards to simulate local and international payments respectively. Okay, so they give yeah, a number of cards here. The number, the country, and the result you should expect. Yeah, this is the end of this page. Not bad. Okay. So if I go to this other part, of course, I'm not going to go through all the documentation today, but I'm just trying to explore it to see what is possible. They say this page includes test scenarios for our Duffel test environment to make sure your integration works as planned. Use it to trigger different flows in your integration and ensure they are handled accordingly. Okay. So they talk about airline routes, offer request API. Okay. Okay. I'll not go through this. Versioning. Okay. We read about it, by the way, earlier. So I'll also not talk about, I'll leave this. Then I will go to flights. Okay. So I think they have now a breakdown of what happens at every stage. Okay. So they have now the offer, for example, the offer requests. Okay. They have the actual offers. They have the orders. Then I'm glad that they have payments. I'm actually very curious. Do you know, I might actually have to just build my thing around these guys. Okay. They have payments. Okay. I wasn't expecting this, but this is nice. Okay. They have seat maps, order cancellations. All these are things we actually implemented. Okay. Order change requests. Okay. Partial offer requests, airline. Okay. Nice. The only thing I'm noticing is maybe like issuing tickets and stuff like that. Of course, you'd need an airline consolidator for that. Or rather, someone who is IATA certified can only be one who can help you with that. But this is very encouraging. Okay. Smash that like button, guys. So maybe I can have a look at this one. Okay. Just briefly. But I think we've actually seen an example about it. Okay. We've seen an example about it. But they're saying to search for flights, you'll need to create an offer request. An offer request describes the passengers and where and when they want to travel to in the form of a list of slices. It may also include additional filters, e.g., a particular cabin to travel in. Okay, then they say airline credit IDs. Say the IDs of airline credits to be used when searching for offers. They say these credits will be evaluated for applicability to the returned offers and included in the available credits field for available airline credits field of compatible offers. Okay, I've got that. Then they have the cabin class. Okay, simply refers to first class, business class, premium, economy, or economy. Then they have the client key, saying a client key to allow the Duffel ancillaries components to talk to the Duffel APIs to retrieve information about an offer and its ancillaries. Learn more about how to use this on that URL. Created at the ID live mode. See, when the offer request was created in live mode, this field will be set to true. If the offer request was created in the live was created if the offer request was created in a live mode, or false, it will be created in a test mode. Okay, understood. Then the offers, the passengers. Okay, so yeah, they just explain the schema. So if you look at the get, okay, this is how the get request would look like. So it's not that hard. Create an offer request. Okay, so yeah, I can't wait to look at this, implement it, and have it working. Okay, I want to implement it and have it working. I think, I don't know what you say, but I find it easy. Okay, but without even reading everything above where I am on this part, or combined with what we have read so far, I understand this request, okay, being made. You get, I like that you can even pass. I'm seeing the edge. Wait, let me see. Okay, they're doing an offer request and even including the details of the passengers. Okay, in Amadeus, this was not something you could do. All right, I think this has been a successful stream. I hope you are equally glad that we have something like this that can help us. Okay, and yeah, we'll move on from here and then try to do something. So yeah, take your time. Okay, I cannot read through everything, so make sure you read. Okay, read as much as you can. Okay, and if you want, you can refactor, okay, the project for yourself. You can refactor, okay, but I am planning to do it and then yeah, get on with the project. Okay, yeah, I didn't expect it to reach this level. In fact, if Amadeus had not disappointed, then wouldn't even be here. Would just be chilling and would be done. In fact, the MVP was done. Many of you have watched that video. What am I looking for here? Okay, I was looking for payments, but we have it. All right, there it is for you. Create your account and then yeah, be prepared to refactor. You can refactor on your own because I see many of you have forked the project on GitHub, so you can do it for yourself. But I will do it and yeah, probably share. So bye for now. Thank you for exploring this with me. I hope you see how direct and easy it is. Bye for now.